Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Thinking Man's program. I am going to do something a little bit crazy today, and I went back and forth in my mind. Today's, of course, July 4th, and you're sitting there after a big barbecue, hanging out in front of your TV, maybe drinking a cold beverage, channel surfing. Came up on this here guy saying Happy 4th of July and long live the revolution. Well, in yesterday's program, I done talked about the shot heard around the world. Because there's a lot of people who don't know that the war started over a year before the Declaration of Independence was signed. April of '75 was the shot heard around the world in Lexington. And the British soldiers were on their way to where? Concord, Massachusetts. Why were they going? Are you ready? Happiness is a warm gun. Bang, bang, shoot, shoot. That's Beatles' White Album. Anyway, they were on their way to Concord to take the guns and the bullets and the gunpowder. There was a munition storage facility that the British learned about that the American colonists had, and the Brits knew that a revolutionary war might happen. Well, let's get the guns. The easy way is gun confiscation. Let's have gun confiscation, gun registration. That's why we have a Second Amendment, friends. So on this July 4th, I want you to remember that if the colonists did not have guns, if the British had been successful in getting the armaments that were in the hands of the colonists and seizing them, how are you going to revolt? How are you going to have a revolution without firepower? And the colonists won. They routed the British. They were waiting. They ambushed them. The British are all marching in a straight line. They were playing by the rules. And so the first terrorists, guerrilla warfare, militants might be better. The British really did believe that the Americans were terrorists because they wouldn't fight fair. They wanted everyone to line up and face each other and stand and shoot and get mowed down like sheep led to the slaughter. The Americans said, I don't think so. We're going to hide in trees and bushes, and we're going to ambush them. Things had gotten so bad that there were people that were willing to shed human blood. I'm going to read the Declaration of Independence today, or most of it, and I'm going to give you this thought to ponder. Tonight, maybe, when you're about to go to sleep, lying in your bed. There was a time when I would ask myself, am I willing to die for freedom? Am I willing to physically, literally die for freedom? And it took me a lot of wrestling. One day I was in a big public meeting and I was looking at a bunch of small children that were there. And we were talking, at that time, the speaker was talking about our freedoms being crushed. And the thought hit me. The question is not, am I willing to die for freedom? The question is, are we willing to kill for freedom? Because that's what the American colonists did. When the Declaration of Independence was signed, it was a declaration of war, all right? And that meant that they were going to raise up a colonial army, which they did, that they were going to appoint George Washington as the commander-in-chief, which they did, and they were going to take up arms and point their weapons at their fellow Britons and kill them in order to be free. That's heavy stuff. It really is. And we have a great debt of gratitude and honor owed to those who founded this country. But we also have to look at what they did with great sobriety on this day. Because while we were birthed as a free republic, the cost of that birth was an enormous amount of blood and treasure. And tragically, we have squandered that. I'm going to read the Declaration when we come back, and you'll see what was happening. And I would submit to you that what's happening today is probably worse than what happened then. But again, that's another matter for another show. Declaration of Independence coming up. And oh, by the way, how many times is God referred to in the Declaration of Independence? You're going to hear it on this show. You ain't hearing it on Fox TV.